Hello chess friends and welcome to your of Chess channel and welcome to an amazing tournament that started today. Welcome to the Meltwater Champions Chess Tour Julius Baer Generation Cup in 2022. So this will be a brilliant chess event for us to watch for sure, because we'll see players from different generations playing against each other. We'll see the young players like Praggnanandhaa, Arjun, Erigaisi, but we'll see also the legends of the 90s. I think we'll see Boris, Gelfand, and also Vasyl Ivanchuk will play in the super event. So we'll have really a collision between young and old. It will be, I think, incredible thing for us to watch. But we have to say the world champion Magnus Carlsen is also playing here in the super event, but also Hans Niemann is playing in this event. So we'll see again a dramatic game between Magnus Carlsen and Hans Niemann for sure. I hope that Magnus Carlsen makes a couple of statements about this issue, this drama that was going on. I think the chess world deserves to be this drama to be finished. I hope that Magnus Carlsen at least makes some kind of a statement for the good of us. So as I said, I think the drama will be here in this tournament, but we'll see also brilliant games between young and older players, but also between the current top grandmasters, really the top elite grandmasters now from these days. So let's start now this top event. We're starting with the beautiful game played by Arjun Erigaisi versus Magnus Carlsen from the round one. The tempo of this tournament is 15 minutes on the clock plus 10 seconds increment, so it's a rapid time format chess tournament. We'll see 16 players performing in first 15 rounds of rapid chess, and then the 8 best players will then go into the knockout stage, into the quarterfinal stage, and then we'll see who will be the winner of this beautiful chess event. So let's start now with the round one, Arjun Erigaisi versus Magnus Carlsen. So here Arjun opened with the move e4. We have now an interesting choice by Magnus Carlsen, which is now the move g6, the modern defense. We have d4, and after move d6, knight to c3. We have now the move bishop to g7, and after move bishop to e3. Here Arjun Erigaisi is playing now this 150 attack method. Is trying to play queen to d2, waits maybe black to play knight to f6, is trying to trade off the bishops here on h6, waits then maybe black to castle here on the king side, and launches an early flank attack with h4, h5. Is trying maybe to open then the h file, and then with the rook and queen support, maybe even to deliver some checkmate ideas here on the h file. This is the main goal of the setup, but of course black has also some chances in the game. I recently started this 150 attack series on my YouTube chess channel, so you can also check it out. Maybe there's something for you. I created this at 150 attack only from white's perspective. Maybe, as I said, you can study it and have a good preparation against this Magnus Carlsen opening against this modern defense. So here's the link, check it out and have fun. So here after move bishop to e3, we have now a6 by Magnus Carlsen, and this is the most important method I think here for black, because black delays a little bit here kingside castle. Black doesn't want to rush into white's attack, because as we said, queen to d2, h4, h5, and then if you castle too early, sometimes in this modern defense setup, then you get crushed immediately by this attack by white. So that's why black is delaying a little bit kingside castling. Is also hoping for a queenside attack here with a6, b5. So we have queen to d2, we have now immediately b5, and now f3, simply protecting now the e4 pawn. If you play now b4 immediately, still you have this idea, knight to e2, then you can play knight to g3, or maybe even g4, knight to g3, and then h4, h5. Again, the same strategy remains. Again, you launch your flank attack on the king sides. But after move f3, Magnus simply plays knight to d7. He's preparing now also here this move c5. So in the continuation, we have now h4. We have knight to f6, prevents of course h5 immediately, because if you play that, then we'll simply take knight takes h5. There are many times this tactical ideas to sacrifice the rook for the exchange. This could be a good possibility if black would have castled here kingside immediately. Now when the king is still in the center, I would not recommend you to play this kind of a tactical shot. Now you just wait, and as I said, you stay with the king in the center, then you block out the center with e5, and then I think even queenside castling in some occasions is perfectly fine. Maybe when black castles kingside, then this tactical shot would work. Then you have opportunities to include maybe the queen, the bishop into the game, maybe also the knight to h3, knight to g5, but in this scenario I think this would be very risky. So that's why after move knight to f6, Arjun Erigaisi played the queenside castling, is now waiting a little bit. He's trying now to focus what black is going to do, and he's trying also a very annoying e5 breakthrough, because we have to notice there is a tension on the d file. We have a beautiful rook and queen battery, so Arjun already prepares a brilliant move. So we have now h5. Now Magnus blocks out the potential progress here with h5. In the continuation, now we have this idea e5, but now after move b4 that Magnus played a counter-attack, now Arjun plays his first mistake in the game, and this was really unnecessary because whenever you get attacked, you should search for opportunities how to play a more active move, and there are only two active moves. You can play knight to a4, at least you are controlling further the c5 square, or you can of course play also knight to e4, is perfectly fine in my opinion, and this would be a good position I think here for white. Still black can really never take out here the pawn on e5 because of the tension by the rook and queen battery. But here Arjun played a too passive move, knight to b1, and you see the knight is now on the defensive side. Okay, Magnus Carlsen has to use also now a tempo in order to get out of this attack, but still I don't like this knight here on b1. At least it should have been on a4, as I said, maybe here on e4. At least it controls the center of the board. Now it's just stuck here, and there is not a good way now anymore to include the knight into the game. So we have now bishop to g5, and again an unnecessary move here by Arjun Erigaisi. There's nothing going to happen here with this bishop. You have already played with the bishop, you already played twice with the same piece. There is, I think, a good method here to break and enter immediately in the position. Still black is perfectly fine here, but at least I think in this scenario making something, at least you're provoking some weaknesses now after something like, I don't know, knight to b6. We can take it out, and at least we have weakened a little bit here the king side. We have at least exposed here black's king, so this was, I think, the way to go for Arjun. But he played bishop to g5, necessary move. Now Magnus just plays knight to b6, and it's never allowing now this e6 method anymore. This was the only way to break through here for white. Now after knight to b6, look at this, black is, I think, much better already. Bishop to e6 is going to happen. One of these knights could maybe here come on c4. So far we have to say the bishop is controlling the c4, but there are even some wilder ideas. Knight to c3, c5, queen to a5, bishop to e6, as I said, liberating this long diagonal. So finally black is building up really a nice attacking formation. We have to say also this bishop is in many occasions already a dangerous piece, so already something went wrong here for Arjun Erigaisi. He didn't play so far a good opening line. So that's why here rook to e1, he's trying now to make something out of the e file, because okay, Magnus Carlsen stayed a little bit long enough here with the king in the center, but it's not going to happen. No attacks are possible because here Magnus plays a brilliant move, bishop to e6. Not that this move only is locking the e file, it's of course also creating attacking chances here on this diagonal. So we have now f4, but again, really unnecessary move. You want to actually play ideas of pardon me, you want to play g4 ideas. Now after move f4, g4 is not going to happen in the continuation of the game because the bishop is controlling this square. As we said, maybe g4, at least you're breaking somehow the position. Maybe you are even sacrificing some pawns, but at least you are creating the dynamics. But here after move f4, Magnus Carlsen is saying, okay, you had your chances here on the king side. Now breaking the position is not going to happen. Magnus has a fully control of the g4 square, and not that he has only the fully control of the g4 square, he's now including the queen into the attack with queen to a4, and there's not good way anymore for black to defend this, pardon me, for white to protect this position. Even if you play b3, then you leave knight to c3 unprotected. Even some occasions you can even sacrifice maybe one of these knights just to open the position in front of white's king. So really a bad position here for Arjun Erigaisi. So after move queen to d7, we have bishop to d3, we have a5 by Magnus Carlsen. He's letting now this pawn roll, and he's trying now to open the position in front of white's king. So we have now queen to e2, trying to get some kind of an opportunity with the queen. Maybe also bishop to b5 could be a threat, so that's why this move at least protects here the potential c5 breakthrough. But here Magnus Carlsen played simply queenside castling and got out of this mess. Although Magnus Carlsen could have even played kingside castling here, this was even a better way to go, because now white needs to develop further the pieces, and now we just play a4 with our normal idea. You can have played maybe something like knight to h2, and now with the move b3, when we have have this opposite side attack games. The point about this kind of positions is who is faster on the attack, and I think black is much faster here. Already the a file will be open, maybe even the b file could be open. Both of these rooks will come into the game. As we said, even some knight to c3 ideas could work. Knight to b4, knight takes a2. I'm not sure, but as I said, there's simply too much tension here in white's position, so this should be winning for black for sure. But Magnus Castle queenside, this was maybe a slightly inaccurate move, but still black is much better here because of this potential attack on the queen side. We have now knight to f3, king to b8, improving a little bit the position of the king, knight to d2, and now the queen comes into the game. Look at this really weird position here for Arjun and Erigaisi. There's not a good way anymore to protect this. Look at this. Even if you play king to b1, then you get knight to c3. Look at this. Everything is so messed up, so you're getting destroyed here for sure. So that's why after move queen to a4, Arjun tried here e takes d6. We have c takes d6, bishop to g6. Here Arjun tried some ideas, deflecting the pawn from the defense of the bishop, grabbing a pawn, but Magnus Carlsen is saying there's nothing going on here on the king side. The battle is actually here on the queen side. He took simply queen to a2 with the serious threat, of course, to play queen to a1. So we have now f5, we have now knight to a4. Really good move here by Magnus Carlsen. Even if you take here, then of course we have queen to b2. You have to play the game like this, and now knight to c3 here leads into checkmate. So really good tactical shot it would have been by Magnus. So after move knight to e4 was played by Arjun and Erigaisi. He's trying to create some escape routes for the king, but actually it's not getting better because queen to b2 anyway. We have king to d2. Now again this idea, knight to c3. We have queen to d3, and now bishop to d7. This was a brilliant move by Magnus. He's rerouting now the bishop, and actually the queen is trapped here on this diagonal. Really good tactical shot by Magnus. So we have now bishop to f7, bishop to b5. The queen has to take now knight to b5, and basically the game is over. Bishop to d5, but now after move knight takes d4, in this position Arjun Erigaisi resigned. So great game by Magnus Carlsen, but keep in mind, I think that this was not good opening prep here by Arjun in this modern defense. This move knight to b1, you see Magnus Carlsen punishes immediately. This is simply too passive. You have to be active against Magnus Carlsen in order to win the games, but still I think Arjun will play a good tournament. He's a really great player. Recently he gained really some rating points, and he got into the top 20 level in classical time format chess. I wish he can get back, but of course this is Magnus. He is playing really some chess from another dimension. So okay, as a warm-up, a good game it was for sure. We'll see what will happen in the super event. So far a good game also by Magnus Carlsen. Brilliant play, and I hope, as I said, that he makes at least some kind of statements about this drama with Hans Niemann. So okay, I hope that you enjoyed the game. Meanwhile, you can watch also some other content here on my YouTube chess channel. Here are some links of some very important series that we have created before, and if you like this content, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. See you soon with some more videos, and chess is the best, of course.